Hi, I'm Rich with Inside HPC. We're here at the Xyratex booth at ISC 12 in Hamburg. I'm here with Mike Stolz. Mike, you guys had some interesting product announcements recently here. Can you tell us more about those?
Sure. We announced the ClusterStor 6000. It's the newest member of our ClusterStor family. The ClusterStor 6000 is all about really performance and density. So we give double the performance that we do on a ClusterStor 3000, but it's really targeted toward those applications where you want very, very high performance at a low density rate. So you can double the performance but have much less footprint in terms of enclosures. We have looked at ourselves positioned against other competitors and so forth, and really, the same type of performance can be delivered in 30% less storage infrastructure.
Okay, so let's double click on performance because we see a lot of numbers batted around. Are we talking block level performance or Lustre file system performance? What would you say?
Sure. There's always confusion around performance and how it gets portrayed and how it actually impacts the end user. We've looked at it and said what's important to the end user application is file system performance. Block level performance is a great measure and a lot of people have used it for a long time, but it doesn't give a true representation of what the end user is going to see. So everything that we've done around the ClusterStor performance numbers is always about the file system performance. And for example, we just, through one of our OEM partners, Cray announced a partnership with NCSA. And part of that NCSA proposal is to deliver 1 terabyte per second performance at a file system level, which is a very dramatic change in terms of the way that performance is measured, but also in the way that systems are performing in general. So Xyratex is way ahead in that game in terms of performance.
Okay, so before this, you have the ClusterStor 3000. Does that go away, or what happens with that? Is that a different kind of product play?
No, the ClusterStor 3000 fits a very important need in the marketplace. The 6000 is really designed for those upper-end applications where you need a lot of performance, you need a lot of scale, and the user is in an environment where they want to do that in a dense way. The 3000 is perfectly positioned for your general HPC applications. Those that require performance, but maybe they don't need as high a level performance. So we will keep both of those products in our family.
So you guys are relatively new to the HPC market in that your name isn't out there so much. If I came up to you and said, "Why should I look at ClusterStor?" what would you say?
In ClusterStor, we've got a couple of things that we really are promoting quite heavily. It's this whole idea around time to productivity. And we measure that not just in the install time or the time that you're going to get up and running, but the true productivity that's used in an application environment. So what's my downtime? What do I need to do about upgrades? How do I ensure that the system is always available? The initial premise around ClusterStor was around this integrated ease of use concept, and that architecture reflects that. So we can indeed get the system up and running in a very short period of time. We're talking 4 or 5 hours versus many weeks. We've pre-tested that solution so that it's fully configured to the customer specification. And we've also taken care of any of those infant mortality issues you have, connectors or whatever that may fail that can really slow down an installation. We fixed that, but then our heritage, Xyratex heritage, is really all around reliability and availability and serviceability. All of our OEM partners are selling into enterprise level applications. And we were kind of intrigued when we came into this market at the lack of really focus on enterprise quality. The use of SATA drives versus SAS drives, the use of single points of failure. You'll find in the ClusterStor system we don't have any of that. We use the higher end enterprise class disk drives. We use dual pathing to all of the major components so that in the event of a failure you're not going to lose the entire system, and that's about time to productivity. We've also looked at the whole area of file system performance that we talked about earlier, really having a high performance system that's easy to use and easy to manage, and one that's reliable.
Well, great. Sounds like you're focusing on the right things, and I wish you success here at ISC.
Thanks, Rich.
You bet. Okay, that's it for the Rich Report. From Hamburg, I'm Rich Breckner. We'll see you next time.